What's going on, 49er faithful? That's right. The San Francisco 49ers just selected defensive end Mykel Williams out of Georgia. And I am screaming because I absolutely love the pick. That's literally a touchdown for the Niners. They finally get a guy out on the edge who could do two things: set the edge, defend the run, and rush the passer. Defend the run and rush the passer. I've been talking about Mykel Williams for the longest. I put him as one of those top edge rushers that the 49ers need to go out there and get. And he just felt like he fit what the Niners were looking for. Thought they might go speed, which they still can look to address later on in the draft if they need to. But they went with a guy that is 6'5", freaking 260 pounds, and is a mountain out there on the edge. And the thing that I love about him is his ability to rush the passer and play the run. I can't talk about how the Niners got to get better at actually getting to the quarterback. That's the key. It's cool, the pressures are there for sure, pass rushing rate is there for sure, but this guy can get to the quarterback, get the quarterback down. Now, the production wasn't as high as he wanted it to be in 2024 due to the injury. I really feel like that ankle injury definitely slowed him down just a tad bit. You know what I'm saying? Just a tad bit. It slowed him down, but he was out there doing the damn thing. We're going to take a look at what he actually did his last year in Georgia, and we'll go through some stuff on what he did throughout his career at Georgia. Now, this is a guy that had to, work his way up onto the football field, into the rotation. He had to find a way to crack the rotation because Georgia is known for pumping out defensive players 1,000%. That's what they're known for. They're known for pumping them out. You can see them all over the Philadelphia Eagles defensive line. And I'm finally glad that the 49ers went and got themselves a defensive dog. All right. 3 years at Georgia, improved every single year, in my opinion. Where he's really strong is in his run defense. He can also drop back in coverage as well. So let's take a look at what PFF has to say about our guys. He Peachy in the chat. 49ers saw what Philly doing. They got them some Georgia dogs. Yeah, and you got to remember, they got a dog from Georgia a couple of years ago, and Robert Bill Jr. So I actually like what they're doing out there, trying to get more guys to actually rush the passer. I actually like this. So now maybe they could put Robert Bill Jr. back in his normal spot, and he's the speed guy. So they might already have the speed guy off the edge in the building, and they wanted to get a solid book in edge. And this is a Robert Saleh pick, 1,000%. Robert Saleh pick, 1,000%. I love it. I love it. I love it. You can see he plays out on the edge. He played 402 snaps for the defense. Remember, they use a rotating defense. All right. They use a rotating defense. USO Rider says, let's freaking go. Sound that alarm. If you're a 49ers fan right now, you should be jumping for joy because we finally got a defensive presence out on the football field. You finally got a guy that can do what Nick Bosa does, literally. Now, he's young. That's the one thing you like about him. He's not even 21 yet. Okay, he doesn't turn 21 until June 29th. This kid is still not even legal to do certain things. We'll leave it at that. But what I like about him is he's going to come in here and he's going to have some guys to learn under, and he's going to get to train against the best offensive tackle in the world, and Trent Williams. This is only going to make him that much more sharp, that much more acute, that much more on point, in my opinion. So if you're a Niners fan and you're like bummed about this pick, I don't know why. I don't get it. They had to go edge here. There's tons of defensive tackles that the San Francisco 49ers can go with. Maybe Walter Nolan falls to round 2. Who knows? These guys are falling. You watched the first round. You saw players get drafted that you were just like, what? There's only one quarterback that's been selected so far. I don't think it's going to be another quarterback taken because they feel like those quarterbacks are going to get pushed to the second round. So this will allow other players to fall. This might just work into the 49ers' favor to where they can use all 11 draft picks on players of need and impact at the same damn time. That's a song. I know that's a song. Can't think of who sings the song. That's a song. Dab LaFleur says Jalen Walker was in our lap. When you look at the two, you have to say, okay, do I want to go with the pure edge rusher or do I want to go with the guy that can give me some versatility? He's a better edge, but he's smaller. Talk about Jalen Walker, but he's better at rushing the passer. So yeah, he can get to the passer because he's quicker. Or do you want to go with the guy that can really set the edge out there? Hey, people thought we were going to draft Shamar Stewart, and I was just like, well, if they go Shamar Stewart, it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? If they go Shamar Stewart, it makes sense because that is what they're looking for. But they went with the guy that got them some production. So let's just look at his production. Okay, 26 total pressures, only 5 sacks, 6 hits, 15 hurries. So not a huge pass rushing, let go type of guy. Only 26 pressures, not a lot from him. But in the long run, he's disruptive. So he's able to get into the backfield off the edge, right? He's able to still get out there off the edge. Look at his run stops, 16 run stops. All right. And we're talking a guy that only played 402 snaps. Some of these edge rushers played tons of more snaps than others. Again, they use the rotative set. I think Kirby's defense out there in Georgia, I just feel like because he has so many players to kind of like rotate in and out, like Tyrion, Ingram, Dawkins, you had other guys. I just don't think these guys were ever able to really like tee off and just become great. That's my thing. I don't think I don't think they were able to sit there and become great because they kept these guys fresh. They kept these guys rotative. And again, when you look at them, only 3 missed tackles. The Niners were one of the top freaking missed tackle defenses of 2024. I mean, they missed so many tackles just from up front, which forced the back end to miss the tackles, the linebackers, the safeties, and it's a lot of missed tackles. You're getting a guy up here that doesn't miss a lot of tackles. So King Dan 1216 says needed an edge setter and the run game, stays healthy, A+ pick. Listen, he's coming to the 49ers healthy. Again, he played on a bummed ankle all season long. I'm going to ask you for your grades toward the end of this broadcast, so save your grades. But right now we got an A+. Brooklyn 13 says a good pick. Peachy says I'm excited. I love this pick. And look, I know a lot of people feel like they could have went with a different edge rusher. I loved Mike Green. Thought Mike Green was the best edge rusher here, and he is. I don't care what anybody says. But for the 49ers, they went with the fit. They went with who they thought was going to fit well and fit the best. And you got it, at the end of the day, you're giving a guy to Chris Kosaric and you're giving a guy to Robert Saleh that they feel is going to be a mountain out there. 6'5", gets his hands up. How many batted down passes did he have? 2 batted down passes. You saw one in the highlight reels that they use on the ESPN feed, if that's what you watched. He can be, and I think he has so much of a higher ceiling that he has so much more potential that can be coached up and tapped into. I don't think he's done learning yet. Again, this kid is not even 21 years old. And so the numbers aren't high. No, you're not getting 50 pressures. No, you're not getting double-digit sacks. No, you're not getting those top numbers. But what you're getting is solid production from the edge position, a guy that can set the edge. That way, guys aren't getting out. And now on my Patreon, I'm going to be breaking down his best games, his worst games. We'll do that. We'll look into his best and worst games and just see where he struggles, where he can get better. All right. So that's on my Patreon. Join my Patreon. You'll be able to get that. So we'll do that there. But just looking at this kid and studying this kid, I made a phone call to a really good friend of mine. Not a phone call. I sent a text message to a friend of mine about a month ago. And I said to him, I was like, bro, I've been watching Mykel Williams and we haven't been talking about him a lot, but I really feel like he's going to be the pick. And he was like, nah, he wasn't productive enough in college. And then as of lately, he started watching Mykel Williams and he said, yo, I think that's going to be the pick. And I was like, I think that's the guy. And lo and behold, even on my live stream on YouTube, we did a first round mock draft. And one of my co-hosts, Peachy, she said that's who she picked to go to the 49ers. She picked Mykel Williams because she's been hearing this talk about Mykel Williams. She feels like he fits there. And that's what the Niners went with. That's what the Niners went with. So I absolutely think this is a solid pick. I'm curious to see how the rotation is going to be for the defensive edge rushing. Do we get Drake Jackson back? Do we have a better rotation? Do we go with another pass rusher in this draft? Does Robert Bill step up? But I can't wait till he puts on the red and gold. Like, I can't rate. Man, just on a scale of 1 through 10, like, how do you rate this pick? Now, don't give, you know what? Bump the scale of 1 through 10. Grade the pick. I want the grade. I got 1 A+ from King Dan. Grade the pick from F through A. You know what I mean? Just grade the pick. Let me know. And then put in the comment section, like, if you're watching the live show, like, why you picked that grade. I would love to answer some of those questions. But I really do love what Mykel did, and just watching him on the field, he's just so much more of a dominant player. And I really didn't even see his injury so much hinder him. I really didn't. I didn't see that his injury hindered him, but I did realize he wasn't as mobile as he probably thought he could be. He wasn't as mobile as he thought he could be. I see Brooklyn 13 says good pick. He gave it an A. King Dan 1216 gave it an A+ pick. Myself, I'll save my grade for the end, but I really think that this guy is going to come and help out Nick Bosa from the edge. I think the way Robert Saleh wants to set that edge, because even Nick Bosa, in my opinion, got better in setting the edge. He was one of the best edge setters. Still struggled a little bit in the run. Not struggled, I don't want to use that word. Wasn't still the greatest in the run game, but he was so much better than what he has been since he came in his rookie season. And so now you got two guys. I think Mykel's coming in as an edge setter. You're gonna have to teach him how to rush the passer a little bit better, right? You're gonna have to teach him the better moves on a little bit better. And let's just kind of go back a little bit, right? Peachy says definitely an A. All right, I love it. I love it. I love it. This guy's going to be an all-pro. I agree. Give him 2 seasons all-pro. 2 to 3 seasons all-pro. Hands down. 2 to 3 seasons all-pro. Easily. Because he's coming into a unit with, in my opinion, a good defensive line coach in Chris Kocurek. Robert Saleh's all gas, no brakes. So he's going to get a player with high octane. Oh, I didn't tell. This kid's motor. And let me see where I had him ranked on my top 100. That's important because he was one of my top 100 players, and I got some stuff about him, and I'll tell you what I really, 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 really love about this kid. So on my top 100, I had Mykel at 24. All right, but he was my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he was my 5th edge rusher. I had him slightly below Shamar. I had him 1 below Shamar Stewart. So Shamar Stewart was 23. I had Mykel Williams at 24. Here's what I loved about him. His physical traits. I put his versatility. He can line up inside and outside. Isn't that how we use Nick Bosa? Oh, wait a minute. We're going to be stunting. Oh, so now I see Robert Saleh wants to stunt. So with the stunting, you're going to have a guy with speed and size that's not going to get bullied around. This is why they had to move on from a guy like Leonard Floyd. This is why they probably didn't go with the lighter edge rushers on the edge, because they want to be able to cross these guys up, and they want to be able to utilize these guys from interior pass rushers as well as 260 pounds getting into the getting to the quarterback. I think I see what the game plan is. I truly think I see what the game plan is. This is going to be mother freaking phenomenal. Like I'm like I'm like, yeah, like I can't wait to play Madden. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Like, I can't wait to play Madden. Yeah, hold on. Let me just get back to my thoughts. So I created my own big board with my own stuff. So I don't mind sharing it with you. You guys can get this on the Patreon too if you want. But he was my 5th edge rusher on my top 100. All right, right here. Physical traits, versatility, explosive first step. And if you look at my 2 rankings, because this is Shamar Stewart right here, and this is Mykel Williams. Look at this. They're almost identical. Prototypical size and length, explosive first step, impact player, personal physical traits, versatility, explosive first step. They both share that explosive first step. They both could be impact players. Things he can move on. Production doesn't match the potential. Remember, I told you his potential was through the roof. He has a very high ceiling, and the production was really low. And I think that's just the way that they were utilized. Like, you get what I mean? I truly think that's just the way that they were utilized out there in Georgia. These guys were rotative and they really couldn't like sink their teeth in and really get the feel of what they needed to do out there on the football field, but they stayed a dominant defense. He's still developing, raw, relies heavily on his physical traits. So this is where he's going to have to come in. He's going to have to learn these moves. He's going to have to become another, what's the word that, how let me ask you this, guys. How would you describe Nick Bosa as a pass rusher? There's a word for it. He's powerful, but he's really good with his hands. He has really good hands. I'm trying to think of how to categorize Bosa, right? I feel like that's how you groom Mykel. Like, you groom him. He learns the moves. He learns the rip. He learns the bend, like the bend. He learns these different moves because he's gonna have to win. Now he can't rely on power alone. He can't rely on power alone. Like, he just can't. That's just not how it works. Not in the NFL. Those offensive linemen are super big. Jay Young 193 says aggression. That I don't get aggression from Nick Bosa. I don't get aggression. He's more like I want to say a tactician. Like, he's really good with his counters. And being that you drafted a kid that's moldable, what if you can kind of get him into the moldable? Like, he has the physicality, he has the power, he has the size, so you don't have to worry about that. He has the speed. He's even faster. What did I have him run? Let me see what I had him. What did he run at the NFL Combine? He's faster, and I believe Nick Bosa was a tad bit slower, but these guys are almost identical in size. He's actually a little bit taller than Nick Bosa. And people are like, well, why are you comparing him to Nick Bosa? Because Nick Bosa was first round pick. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to compare first round pick. Like, and why not? Because this is a kid that you want to bring in. All right, did you want to bring in? I'm glad he lost a little bit of weight because he was at the combine. He was 267, so he was even heavier. He ran a 4.77, I believe. I believe he ran a 4.77. I believe he has 82 and a half inch wingspan. God dang, 82 and a half inch wingspan. What? Like, once this kid gets his arms around you, baby, it's a wrap. Like, once he gets his arms around you, it's a freaking wrap. So I'm super excited because he's moldable. He has the physical traits. It's not, and now he just has to learn how to pass rush from a professional level. And where else better to learn? Where else? He's going to be with Nick Bosa, one of the greatest pass rushers of all time, as a defensive end. We're not talking about an outside linebacker. We're talking about a guy he could really look to and model his game after. And I got you, Michael_Lay. Chris Kocurek is licking his chops because he finally got another guy. We keep saying that Chris Kocurek can't develop these guys. Fine, that's fair. That's 100% fair. We can say that. But you gave him Nick Bosa. How'd that pan out? I think if you give him more talent, he's going to be just freaking fine. I can tell you that right now. If you guys got any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. If you guys got any comments or statements you want me to read out, let me know. He doesn't turn 21 until June. He doesn't turn 21 till June. This kid is literally a young pup that's going to turn into a full bred dog. I feel like by week 5, week 6, week 7, he's gonna turn into a dog. I can feel it. All right, let's play a game. Okay, there's a question out there. Let's play a game though, real quick. Damn it, I had a question for y'all, but I do see a question out there. He got 5 sacks in college. Over or under 5 sacks in the pros his rookie year. Let me know what you guys think. Over or under 5 sacks his rookie year. All right, so and tomorrow, guys, I will be back here after the last pick. So after the last pick in the 3rd round, I will be back. Whenever our last pick is, I'll be back. We'll discuss those picks either. All right, so Jay Young says, when does San Francisco go offensive line? Ooh, listen, are you watching this draft, bro? I'm watching players fall that I didn't think were going to fall. Like, I'm not even watching the rest of the first round. Okay. And thank you for following me. I appreciate you. I can't wait to catch up on what's going on with the rest of the first round. Like, I'm here with y'all, but I'm watching players fall. And I think the Niners don't go offensive line to round 3. They got 2 third-round picks. And so on day 2, that third round, I think they either use pick 75 or pick 100. It all depends who falls. But I do think they go with a guard tackle combo. They go with an offensive lineman combo. Unless one of these top tackles they got first round grades or grades on falls. Like, it's a possibility. It's a possibility. So that's who I have us. That's when they go offensive line. Marco Aguirre, did I say your name right? He says, who's next? We drafting. Okay. So I'm a defensive. I feel like this team needs defense tackle. And right now, let me see if I could pull up who has been drafted. And I think they go defensive tackle next. All right. I think they go defensive tackle. I truly do. I think they go defensive tackle. I don't think they're going to have to trade back into the first round. All right. Who are you thinking is next? All right. So if they go defensive tackle, it all comes down to who's available. And I'm still like, it all who falls. What if Walter, let me just say, if Walter Nolan, I think if Walter Nolan falls to 43, he's the pick. Focus on the top 30 guys. Mykel Williams, top 30 guy. These are guys that they actually really wanted to see and invest in. So a top 30 guy, Hargrave replacement, Walter Nolan, or Derek Harmon. I think one of those two. So there's 3 defensive tackles that I think may slip to round 2 now. I'll give you those 3. And I'm glad you guys asked. But I'm really happy about Mykel Williams. I hope people don't realize. I hope people know that I'm freaking ecstatic and I can't wait to break down film. All right. So defensive tackles, Walter Nolan, Derek Harmon, Darius Alexander. The only one that they did not have a top 30 visit with was Derek Harmon. I'm hearing that he has some type of an injury and a little setback or something like that. So that's what I'm hearing. Now, that's the defensive tackle. If they go offensive line, which they can, and Josh Simmons is sitting there at 43, and Walter Nolan is sitting there at 43, it's a very difficult situation for the San Francisco 49ers. It'll be because the question is who will be the most impactful year 1, and I think you give the defensive tackle the edge. So I would go Walter Nolan over Josh Simmons because I think the Niners are going to look to get one of those athletic combo guys, like a Logan Brown from Kansas or a Marcus Bowe from Purdue, like one of those combo guys. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, King Dan says your show is fire tonight. By the way, love draft night. Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Mojo, I asked the question. I said over or under 5 sacks. Mojo _ San Francisco says 7 sacks. Book it. 7 sacks. Book it. King Dan says any chance we trade back for Simmons? Possibility. Would you like? I just you saying trade back into the first round to get Simmons or trade down in the draft? I need that. I'll understand. But I don't see the Niners trading back into the first round because I think there's going to be players that are going to fall to 43. So why spend the capital? Why spend the capital? If you don't have to, don't spend it. That's just my opinion, though. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen. I don't know what the Niners are going to do, but if they got players falling down, there's no point in spending the capital. Hold on to your draft picks and stay pat. This is that draft where they can actually stay pat, get back into the first. I wanted them to get back into the first because but if here, I think they get back into the first, guys, if they want a Nolan or those top 30 players that they have first records. Remember, John Lynch said he only had 20 first-round grades. What pick are we? Damn, the Cardinals went Walter Nolan, and they're at 16. See what I'm saying? I don't think the Niners wanted to spend that. I thought the Cardinals would go Kenneth Grant, but Walter Nolan is gone. So look, Darius Alexander, Start thinking about his name. He's one of my top 5 defensive tackles. The only knock about him is he's older. So that's the only knock. He's just an older guy. But man, the Niners like versatility. Versatility. He's a little bit like he's about 300 pounds, maybe a little bit over 300 pounds. I think he's like 6'5" or 6'4", 6'5". But he can play inside and outside. So now you got versatility of a guy, and the Niners can have this interchangeable type of a lineup. So if Darius Alexander could fall to the second round. I didn't realize we were only at pick 16. So the draft is really moving that slow. I forgot I could watch the draft right here on the computer, guys. My bad. I'm so locked in to Mykel Williams and to you guys here on the Bleacher Report. I forgot I could still watch the draft. Walter Nolan is gone. I just want to say, I'm not gonna say it here, but I just want to say the Cardinals. Yep. I'll do it again. The Cardinals. All right. So you time it up. The Cardinals. There it is. I just wanted so you can understand what I hey. So Walter Nolan is officially with the Cardinals. All right. So he's officially with the Cardinals. Did a year at Texas A&M and then finished his career out. He's a disruptor up front, man. So the Niners definitely have their work cut out for them day 2. Any packages you foresee the Niners sending picks to maybe move into the mid rounds? Yeah, like I think the Niners are probably looking to get as many top 100 players that they can get. Right now they're set to get 3 more. They have pick 43, pick 75, pick 100. Is there a possibility that they could bottle up like a 3rd rounder or 4th rounder to move back up into the 3rd round? I don't know. That doesn't make. I don't know if they'll be able to do it. I don't know if they have the draft. I don't know if the points make sense. You know what I'm saying? We can kind of play around with the points, but we kind of got to. I think, in my opinion, from doing all my draft study this year, I think that there's going to be so much talent lingering in the 4th round that the Niners don't have to trade up. I think so much talent from day 2 is going to end up in day 3. I wouldn't be surprised if the Niners try to get an extra 4th round pick by trading something because that talent is going to drop. So that's my theory now. They didn't move in round 1. I don't expect them to move up in round 2. I don't expect them to move up in round 3. I think those rounds will go as pat because players are going to fall. Players are going to fall. Kenneth Grant, yes, he went to the Dolphins. Correct. So I think the Niners, I got to check and see how the board is falling right now. I think Tyler Booker went to the Cowboys. Kenneth Grant went to the Dolphins. I'm missing some picks in between that though. Like, Tyler Warren went to the Colts, and then the Cardinals just took Walter Nolan. So I think I'm pretty much caught up. I think I'm pretty much caught up for sure. So this is like and just to hype on the Mykel Williams, it's not a flashy pick. I get why the excitement from the faithful isn't what I thought it would be. I am freaking excited. Listen, I watched Georgia football and I got a chance to watch this kid. Like I'm telling you, he has the potential to be a dominant force out on the football field. Mykel Williams, get used to that number. Mykel Williams. Question: is there a Nope, no question. I don't need an answer to that. All right, so the Bengals pick is in. All right, I already have who they're going with. The Bengals. And again, like this all comes down to fit. So Shamar Stewart is about to go to the Bengals. Like this is dope. This is dope. Now the Niner fans can be like, thank God. Now I guarantee he's gonna go to the Bengals and he gonna wreck shop. I can guarantee it. Like Pepsi is a brand name, I can guarantee it. But we got, to me, the better of those 2 picks. I can tell you that right now. We literally got the better of those 2 picks. I can tell you that right now. I love Mykel Williams. I love his ability to set the edge. I think he plays with a higher motor. I just truly do. I think his motor is high. His first step is great. His get off is fire. And that's what the Niners need for Chris Koseric's defense to work. Don't forget, we playing this Y9 alignment, right? So they got to be able to cover space. And that's what it's all about. Set that edge up there, up the front. They're a little bit further out than most edge rushers are in a 4-3 alignment because they're a little, it's called the wide nine. So they set up more to the outside. That gives those big defensive tackles in the interior. That to me is the biggest question mark. Everybody wants offensive line. Everybody wants corners, offensive. No, defensive tackle. Defensive tackle. King Dan 12-16. If the Niners go this route, I don't see the Niners going this route. They have never gone this route. And I'll explain the route that I'm talking about. You talking about Alfred Collins from Texas. That's a big kid, bro. When is the last time the Niners had a nose tackle, defensive tackle? I feel like unless they're athletic, I don't think those guys will be good fits. You're talking 6'5", 320, not too big and wide, but can he move? Because we play the wide nine, so he's got to be able to move. I think it'll be a good one tech, or nine or whatever. Like either way, he'll be out there covering a lot of space, which the Niners can go big and little. Like if they went out for here's how I would love for the Niners to address the interior now that the top guys are gone. I'm glad that they're gone. Go freaking, if you go with a big guy like Alfred Collins, go get me Aeneas Peoples or Omar Norman Lott. Go get me one of those two freaking strong, powerful, disruptive guys that's going to give me pressure from the interior. Which, guess what? If you create the pressure in the interior, it's going to force the guys to run to the outside. And guess who's going to be waiting? Oh, the mountains. Yep. You got the Mount Andes on one side. You got Mount Kilimanjaro on the other side with Mykel Williams. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Mojo SF, I'm laughing because I said I had a question for y'all. I said, yo, I got a question. And then I was like, no, I don't. I don't have a question. And then you just freaking did this. Mykel has to find a New Jersey number to wear. I was about to say, is there anybody on the team that wear 13? And I realized it's Brock Purdy's number. And so that's why I didn't ask the question. I was thinking the same thing. Stay out of my head, bro. Actually, you can stay in my head. That means we're connected. We're all family because we're faithful to the Bay. I love it. 1000%. So listen, guys, thanks for so much for tuning in. I'll be back here tomorrow night. Not at the same time. It would be after the last pick, all right, for the San Francisco 49ers, breaking it down. If you want more of my 49ers draft coverage or football coverage, all you got to do is go to YouTube at the WayneBreezie. I'll be live there for sure. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.
What's up, faithful? Thanks for watching. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and make sure you check out some of the other cool videos.